Detroit Den 313. Welcome back, Stephen Will live from his penthouse suite in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, uh, the Red Roof Inn. But before we get started, we're going to be talking some Detroit Lions football. You know what to do before we get into it. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a whole lot. Today was a big day, Will. Tell the people what was going on today.
Day 2, NFL draft, DBs, safeties.
Anyone stick out? Anyone hurt themselves, help themselves, other than Nate Wiggins going out and running faster than a Maserati?
Nate Wiggins had himself a day. He did tweak his hip a little bit. Not sure what the extent of that is. I did see that it wasn't anything to be seriously worried about, but I don't want to quote it any further than that. That's all I heard. But it's understandable when you're moving faster than the speed of light.
Faster than your joints can hold up, apparently.
Apparently. So yeah, Nate Wiggins looked absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, he definitely earned himself some money today.
Yeah, he kind of dodged a bullet because initial reports I was watching live, and when they showed him limping off to the locker room, they're saying suspected torn groin, which would have been devastating for his draft stock, but maybe helpful for the Detroit Lions. But he dodged a bullet. They said something maybe just might have tweaked his hip flexor a little bit, so no big deal. So we really only got to see him run the 40-yard dash, and I knew he was going to be fast. But after I watched Kenyon Mitchell run a 4.33, I said that's going to be tough to beat. And then Nate Wiggins came out and said, "Hold my beer. I'm about to run a 4.29."
Yeah, it was nuts, man. He looked phenomenal. I don't know. I did see that that's one of the faster times that he's ran. You know, he wasn't known for being that fast. So hey, man, I don't know if he just had a day, if that was an anomaly. I don't think it was, because he looked great. And what was scarier, if you watch it, he doesn't even get out good.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he's faking, but maybe that injury was like damn, I just ran a 4.29. I better fake an injury so I don't have to run this again and run my 4.34. 4.29. Yeah, we're going to pack it in. We're done. Yeah. But honestly, it was impressive, but I wasn't like over the moon shocked because I expected him to be fast. I expected Kenyon Mitchell to be fast. They didn't. I'm not trying to downplay what they did, but it was impressive, but I expected it.
I didn't expect that out of Nate Wiggins. I saw some things saying that he would probably go 4.5, 4.4. So to see a 4.2, I'm definitely going to have to do some digging into where he did his combine prep, because everything that I read was that he would be happy if he ran a low 4.4. So 4.2 and a 4.4, two different paydays.
Yeah, he might have put himself, dare I say, top 10, kind of out of the Lions' reach, unless these quarterbacks just go out tomorrow and they're just slinging it around. But I don't know. I think Nate Wiggins probably had the most impressive day, and he was on the field for all of 4.29 seconds.
Yeah, he did. He definitely, man. He definitely had the most impressive day. But I think it also is going to be make it interesting for Kenyon Mitchell now. Now Kenyon Mitchell could potentially be somebody that the Lions could potentially get their hands on. If you're still high on Terry and Arnold, they still got Kool-Aid McKinstry out there. Cooper DeJean that didn't participate because he's still rehabbing. So there's some there is a world where Kenyon Mitchell may be available, or he may get close. So
might be in our range, at least, where we can make a move.
He might be in the range where we can make a move. But what I was more excited about was Max Melton. Max Melton was also he also ran fast, man. What was he? Was he 4.3 as well, I believe?
Max Melton,
4.1, yeah, barely 4.3, 4.39.
4.39, yes.
Yeah, 4.39. So I mean, for a guy that's as physical as he is, man, I'm interested to see too where he falls in the big scheme of this thing, and if we can live in a world maybe where we can get multiple assets that are a big deal and play Detroit Lions style.
Yeah, we've talked to Max Melton very, very recently, probably maybe like 2 weeks ago, maybe 10 days. We did an episode focused purely just on Max Melton. So we talked about his tape. We talked about how he likes to play in the run, likes to cover, press cover. Unfortunately, it goes to Rutgers, so that might be a little bit of a knock on him. Not in my opinion, but I kind of heard that, Rutgers are not really a powerhouse, but, neither is Toledo. So if you could play ball, people are going to find you. Went out today.
From that NFL pedigree, too.
Yeah, went out today, ran a 4.39, looked good in every single drill. I could say he had just as an impressive day for me personally that Braden Fisk had just the other day.
I think Mr. Fisk today was a little bit more impressive for me, but
a little bit, but we're talking in the neighborhood.
Definitely comparable. Yeah, he went out and definitely solidified what I had thought about him already from a field standpoint, and for people that he wasn't on the map for, I think he definitely put himself on the map.
I think he's definitely in the conversation for top 5 corner, maybe top 8, top 10, somewhere in there.
My thing about him is when you watch his film, he looks great, man. But it's a question of he went to Rutgers and what's his speed going to look like? When you see a guy that's that physical, you don't necessarily expect him to be a guy that's going to run 4.3. So again, what am I doing when I'm watching this combine? I'm trying to solidify what I saw on film. So what I saw on film, I was already happy with. If he would have came out and ran a 4.5, a low 4.5, I would have still said, "Hey, man, yeah, it's somebody that I would look at end of the second round, beginning of the third round." When a guy's film looks like that and he comes out and runs 4.3, he might sneak in a day one.
I don't know about day one, but I definitely don't think he's making it to the Lions pick at 61. But he's high on my list, very very high. I even texted you today and just said Max Melton dot dot
Yeah.
dot.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
impressed. I was kind of disappointed with something in the combine today.
What was that?
No Kool-Aid McKinstry. So I guess from what I heard, I'm not exactly sure if he was going to participate in the 40 or if he was just going to do drills. I don't know for sure, but I guess his medical evaluation came back and they told him that he had a fracture in his foot and he was unaware of it. So they kind of packed it up. I think I heard he's still going to participate in his Alabama pro day, and then he's going to seek surgery. It's nothing serious. It's just a little I think it's called a Liz Frank injury. I'm not very familiar with that. It's like a little break near the pinky toe on a bone. But I think I heard that he's going to participate in his Alabama pro day and then seek out an operation to get it repaired. But I was looking forward to seeing him today. Kool-Aid, Lions, kind of go hand in hand with the name and what we talk about here in Detroit. So I was a little disappointed in that, but I am looking forward to his pro day.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Anytime these guys don't participate on their pro day, I get a little nervous.
Well, nervous as
We'll see.
in
Why is there a reason why you don't want to showcase your skills?
that's what I'm thinking with some of these quarterbacks who are sitting out. Like, you're a quarterback, you throw the football, you have a chance to come out here with no pads, no defensive pass rush, no worrying about blocking schemes. All you have to do is throw a football. I don't understand why people, especially quarterbacks, sit that out, but I'm with you. It does. I'm not going to knock Kool-Aid because I think that this injury is what set him back. But
Well,
I
when
get
it's
what
a
you're
case,
saying.
I understand it when it's a case where you're already going to be a top 5 pick. What am I doing? Okay, that's fine to me. Like you know, the only thing that you can do is hurt yourself at that point. I get it. But when you're a guy you're still battling for where you're going to be in the pecking order, I don't understand you not getting out and showcasing your skills unless there's something that you know that you don't want the world to know. So that's just my biggest questions with these guys, man. I understand if you're being told that, hey, due to your medical evaluation that you can't participate, that's understandable. But outside of that, when guys just choose not to participate, it's questionable for me.
I get it, 100%. I'm with you because we'll talk about the quarterbacks here in a little bit. But Max Melton had a day. There was another kid who impressed me. Another kid we've talked about, Renardo Green from Florida State. I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Not blazing fast in his 40 time, 4.54, but he looks good in all the drills,
Yep.
which I try not to really look into. But they kept mentioning his name. Played on a very fast Florida State team where he was kind of the number one corner. And we've talked about him before. So how do you feel about Renardo Green?
He's a guy that solidified that he's going to be a solid football player in the NFL, most likely. He might be a guy that takes a year or two to get kind of his feet up under him, but he's definitely a guy that I could see contributing to a team. So we did some stuff talking about him potentially being a sleeper or iron horse or a dark horse. I mean, so you never know. I definitely be looking for him, and probably I still think that he's probably going to be a third round guy. But that's
I don't think he really wowed anyone today to change his draft position, but I just thought I can lock him into round 3 if the Detroit Lions pass in the first 2 rounds, or if we don't sign a very deep cornerback class in free agency. He could be a guy we target. But there was one other guy, and we're not going to talk about every guy on my list. We're going to talk about Terrion Arnold. I think he looked absolutely phenomenal today.
He looks smooth to me, man. That's how I would describe him. He looks smooth. He looked everything looked easy. He didn't look like he was pressing. He just looked like he was just out there having a fun day.
Yeah, plain and simple. A top 5 corner. Um, we've kind of had the discussion of Terry and Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry. You know, Kool-Aid doesn't get thrown at too much because he's considered a lockdown corner, while Terry and Arnold's on the other side getting tested and still putting up pretty good coverage numbers. So if that's something that matters to you as a Detroit Lions fan, like Terry and Arnold could be easily cornerback 2 day 1, potentially cornerback 1 later down the road with a little coaching, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road. But I really like Terry and Arnold.
I don't have him that high, man, just because he hasn't been in the saddle that long. So, I think that he's going to go to the NFL. He's going to get his bottom spanked a little bit, going through some growing pains. And the Detroit Lions are a team that's looking to compete for a championship right now. So I want a guy that's kind of a little bit more solidified, or has a little bit more speed to go along with his skills, because at the end of the day, when you run a 4.2 or a 4.3 and you goof up, you can recover it with your speed. So when a young guy has that type of talent, I want the speed to go with it. So when these guys are hitting you with double moves or hitting you with route combinations that you're not used to, you can use your recovery speed to take care of that.
I've only got 2 more guys on my list that I
Who you
want to
got?
talk about. I only want to talk about Ennis Rakestraw only because he's been mocked to the Detroit Lions in
Yep.
every other mock draft. It's either Rakestraw or Darius Robinson, 2 Mizzou players.
Yeah.
Didn't wow me today. I really kind of tried to give him extra attention to give him the benefit of the doubt with all these mock drafts. Wasn't high on him before. I tried to really focus in on what he did today. Didn't wow me with his speed, 4.54. Didn't overly impress me in any of the drills that they did, and his tape doesn't overly impress me. So I've been out on him before. I think I can officially cross him off my list. How do you feel?
I don't know about crossing him off the list, but I think that he did not do anything to solidify a first round draft stock. I think he might have slipped into the second round at this point, but we'll see.
Yeah, not very
Didn't,
high on him.
didn't look terrible, but didn't do anything phenomenal either.
And there's one other guy I'm completely crossing off my list, and that's Kalen King of Penn State. 90% sure I could go out and run a faster 40.
That's understandable, man. He wasn't.
Don't you
I,
laugh at me. I could.
I, I told you I wasn't high on him already, so yeah, it's the same thing. He solidified to me, what I had already seen. So
Let's talk real quick. Only local kid, Mike Sanders still. Got to pay him a little respect. He's played. He comes from our Michigan Wolverines, national
yep.
champions. I think he looked damn good today as well.
Yeah, he, man, I think that he's gonna be a guy who could be a sleeper, man. I think he could go out, and just because of the way that he plays the game, kind of like CJ Gardner Johnson, he's just the type of guy that is impactful with the way that he plays the game. Not just his play, but who he is as well. He's a guy that injects his team with energy. And if you times that by his physical nature, even though he's a little bit undersized for the people that we typically like, I like what he did today.
What is he? Is he 5'10", 5'11"? I can't remember his official height. Somewhere in there,
Yep.
and his broad jump was 40, or his vertical was 40. His 40 time was 4.47, and in all the drills, you could just see, like, we watched him every single snap since he's been at the University of Michigan. When he played receiver, converted to corner, every single drill, he probably looked like he was catching the ball the smoothest. Whether that means something to you or not, you could just tell, like, when he gets his hands on a football, it's his. Like, he's
Yep.
got incredible hands, incredibly smooth, ran a good 40. I watched some stuff on Twitter about him. I think it was one of the Washington receivers. It wasn't Romo Dunze. It was one of the other 2 guys. They were asked who gave you the hardest time covering you in your college career, and he said, without a doubt, it was Mike Sanders. Still, he understood what coverages and what routes we were going to be running when we were lining up to the plays, and it was getting under my skin and making me mad. That's almost an exact quote. So I think you're right. I think Mike had a day. He'd be a real nice picket. I don't know about 29, but I really, really am growing more on a Detroit Lions and Mike Sanders still reunion and homecoming.
You know who I wasn't growing on today?
Who's that?
My boy James Williams.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta tell it like it is, man. My boy ran a 4.6 today. I was hoping that he run faster, but I will say that I think that I kind of contribute that to the dude he played at Miami at 215 pounds and he played safety. He played at the Senior Bowl linebacker. I think that it's been pretty much through his evaluations, he's been told that he's probably going to be a linebacker in the NFL. So kind of in a hurry, he put on that 15 pounds to 20 pounds. And I think that slowed him down. I don't think that he's going to be a guy that plays the game slow. And at the linebacker position, at running a 4.6, considering every Detroit Lions linebacker besides Derek Barnes runs a 4.6, it's definitely not the end of the world, especially with that 6'5", 6'4" frame. But that being said, it wasn't what I expected. I was kind of hoping that he'd run that 4.4 and be a freak.
Yeah, I don't know. I had higher expectations, higher hopes. It's impressive for a guy his size. And they even said when he ran his 40 time, like, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah who said, like, why is this guy running with the safeties? He's going to be a linebacker. I was just like, well, his whole college career, he's played safety. He's more familiar with these drills than he is linebacker drills. So he's going to do what's best for him. And I understood it. And we still never got, I don't think we ever got an answer to our question on who decides that. Is it the player? Is it the agent? Is it kind of like an agreement? I don't know if you've gotten an answer, but I still have not heard anything, and I'm still very curious.
I haven't got an answer. I have gotten lucky. I haven't got a chance to talk to you about it, but I got a little plug with some people that are affiliated with the combine and here in a few weeks. So I will toss that question if nobody has figured it out by then.
All right, guys, big day today for the Detroit Lions. Cornerback is a huge position of need. We've given you some big names to look at. We've talked about Nate Wiggins, Mike Sanderstill, Kenyon Mitchell, Rake Stroud, who's been mocked to us quite a bit. Max Melton, kind of a sleeper for most people if you're just a casual fan. If you're not a diehard into the draft and all that, Max Melton is a name to look out for. Renardo Green, Terrion Arnold. Like, we've got plenty of options. One of those players should be available at the Detroit Lions pick at 29. So leave a comment down below. Let us know who you like. Hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. And we'll be back later tomorrow, maybe talking some quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. We'll see how we're feeling.